Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 8. I almost said 7, we're on number 8. One day I'll learn, but yeah, welcome back everybody. Hope you're gonna get used to seeing this screen because we are collecting fragments. That's it. That is all we have going on for quite a while. We did one, the dam construction operation withdrawal, which is one of the fragments that we have to view first. It is required to view certain ones before we can jump into others, and that's what's going to make this a little interesting. So, starting with the first page, it doesn't look like there's any... Yeah, there's none here that we need to view first. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this is one of the first ones. So, I don't really care about what particular order we do these first ones in, but we will we'll get all the first ones out of the way. And then it becomes a little interesting after that. Group physical exams are very meaningful to for our research. Although it's only for certain groups, we can examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. It's a perfect cover for our research center. Also, because of several arrangements, we have a monopoly on the villagers' corpses and can perform autopsies on them too. There certainly wasn't an environment this rich in opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work of the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. The amount of data he compiled is absolutely astounding. He truly was an incredible researcher.
失礼します、所長。
ああ、高野さん、お疲れ様です。
先ほど東京から残りの検査結果が郵送されてきました。こちらに置きますわね。
ありがとうございます。いよいよ面白くなってきましたね。
この面白さを共有できて、とても嬉しいですわ。
Takano-san is my assistant, who was sent from the self-defense force. But she's far from the image I have of an SDF officer. Just like our research is being concealed, maybe her identity is concealed too. I'm sure her name is an alias as well. Haha, it's not, kinda. I'm just a doctor and a researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. She's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher who's an expert on Hinamizawa syndrome. Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Irie Institute, and she should have been the director. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. They searched for a person who met the requirements, and there I was. I became the director. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on their strings, but I won't just sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I'm a researcher, so of course I'm excited about that. My client's goals might be different, but I'm here out of the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome and be the first person to uncover a new mystery for mankind.
hinamizawa 症候群という寄生虫感染症がほぼ間違いなく存在するという浮かし彫りの情報はいくらでも集まるのに、原因となる病原体が発見できないのはとても悔しいですね。
そうですわね。電子顕微鏡を使えばあっさりと見つかるだろうという期待も少しはしていたもので。
Wasn't it explained in Chapter 7 that the parasite dies or whatever when the person dies, so it's not like they can just examine a corpse? And that's how nobody has found out about it? Viruses are too small to see with a regular microscope. So the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. The late Dr. Takano said an electron microscope could find the cause of the disease, but it seems his theory has been proven wrong. Even Takano-san was hoping an electron microscope would find it. She was disappointed when she didn't uncover anything after all the autopsies she performed. Our research seems to be having its first snag. It has actually stalled our work for several weeks now. So we need to think about where to go from here.
となると、極小の極小なのか。 あるいは検体そのものに問題があるのかもしれません。
と申しますと？
例えばですが、野生のネズミの体に多数のノミが寄生していることはご存知と思います。ですが、ネズミの死体を調べたところでノミを見つけることはできません。宿主が死んだ時点で寄生虫であるノミの生活基盤も崩壊するからです。
宿主が死ねば寄生虫にとってそれは地球が滅んでしまうのと同じことというわけですわね。
そうです。滅びた後の地球を調べても人類を見つけることができないのと同じです。
ということは、滅ぶ前の地球を調べればよいという話になりますわね。
Where'd my nice music go?
そうですね。ただ、滅ぶ前の地球には人権があります。生きているうちに調べることは難しいでしょう。
Examining a living human's brain. No matter how you sugarcoated it, that bore very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary. But we have rules and morals in this world, and we have to advance medicine with such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomies for the betterment of mankind, or betterment, excuse me. I don't think I was wrong. However, could I ever be forgiven under our ideas of ethics? I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil. Whether I'm guilty or not, I have to accept it. As I reflected upon my past, I heard a voice. It was Takano-san's. It was very clear and simple, yet it struck me with surprise.
わかりました。滅ぶ前の地球を用意させましょう。
What? I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil, tempting us to accept sacrifices. I heard that devil whisper.
そんなに難しいことではありませんわ。Hinamizawaの住民で、すでに重篤の状態で市内病院に入院しており、いつ死んでもおかしくない患者を探させるだけですもの。
しかし、いくら余命いくばくとはいえ、自らの体を生きているうちに検体に差し出される勇気のある方がいらっしゃるでしょうか。
そんな必要はありませんわ。いずれ亡くなる方にほんの少し早くお休みいただくというだけの話ですわ。書類上ね。
The patient would be legally declared dead even though they're still alive, and we'd perform an autopsy while they're still alive.
無理でしょう。第一、頭蓋を切開するような大手術となれば絶対に痕跡は残ります。遺体を遺族の方が見られたら不審に。
そういうところを何とかできるのが私どもではありませんの。山犬に至急条件を満たす患者が存在しないか市内病院を調べさせます。
All you have to do is to wait with a knife and a fork in your hands?
すぐに研究対象をお連れいたしますから。
She's basically stating like how she escaped death here.
わかりました。
Mio Takano is my partner, there's no question about that. But I just can't trust her. It's her extremities as a researcher which contrast largely with mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and a fork in my hands, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different knowing what I've done in the past? I've performed lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? I have never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san is talking to Okanogi-san on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect upon my past to remember why I chose to become a doctor. Jesus, that took a That did take a little bit of a twisted turn. I mean, we've all heard of, like, you know, how human experimentation is morally wrong, and we all understand why it's morally wrong, right? It makes total sense. Like, it's someone alive, right? I don't know. Okay, so this is another one. So this was learning a little bit about Irie. This is going to be learning a little bit about Tomotake, I think. The forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear.
ごめんよ、高野さん。
あら、いいのよ、気にしないで、次郎さん。私も土砂降りになるかもしれないことを覚悟の上で出かけたんだから。
She did giggle. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, and I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ending up ruining her precious day off. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinomiya, so I asked her to go for a stroll.
いや、本当に申し訳ない。
She teased me for a while, but only a little. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. I think I've become captivated by her. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I might have used my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should think this slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. So I want to believe she's out here because she might be even a little bit attracted to me. Yeah, let's use that optimism. I'm down with it. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after that.
次郎さんも不思議な人ね。東京ではさぞや女性にモテるでしょうに。なぜわざわざ私みたいなおかしな女に付き合ってくださるのかしら？
Yeah, why are we?
おかしななんてことはないよ。高野さんは十分魅力的だよ。
確かに私はとても大切な研究のために生涯を捧げたつもりだけど、それだけじゃ人生は潤いがないもの。たまには頭を切り替えて遊ぶことも大事だし、それに異性とのコミュニケーションは脳の活性にもとてもいいんだから。
僕ごときで高野さんの頭の気分転換のお役に立ててるならいいんだけどね。
あなたは私と一緒にいても気分転換にはならない？
She gives me an impish smile and makes my heart skip a beat. Oh, come on, man. I tried hiding my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice even my ears going red.
そんなことないよ。僕も高野さんと一緒に過ごせるとこういろいろと気分転換になるよ。それにほら、高野さんに野鳥撮影のことを布教すれば僕も撮影の同志を得られるわけだしね。もしよかったら次に来るときは僕の古いカメラを持ってくるよ。買うと高いからね。
ありがとう。あなたを虜にする野鳥撮影がどれくらい楽しいのかぜひ教えていただけると嬉しいわ。ぜひ次の機会には野鳥撮影の散策にご一緒したいわね。
うん。僕のフルで少し挑戦してみて馴染めそうだったら新しいカメラを買う方がいいんじゃないかな。東京に戻ったら送るよ。
ありがとう。次に来てくださるときはぜひ私の写真の批評をお願いするわね。
うんどんな写真か楽しみだな。
きっと次郎さんみたいにはいかないわ。本当に初めてですもの。
While she keeps her cool, excuse me, God. While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? I can't help but think that Takano-san likes being with me. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, no, 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 no. Taking women's flattery seriously is the mistake I always make. Fuck, goddamn. It's like a rock in my throat. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me.
そういえばこうして二郎さんと二人きりでゆっくりおしゃべりをするのは初めてね。
そうだね。いつも所長とか他の研究員の人とかがいたりするからね。
私あなたのことを全然知らないの。あなたが東京でどんな仕事をしているかとか、今までどんなことをしてきたのかとか、自衛隊ではどんな活躍をされているのかしら。
昔ちょっとだけ教官の真似事をしてたけどね、怪我をした時に目をやっちゃってね。普段の生活には支障はないんだけど、大ごとに受け取られちゃって、それ以来は事務屋の仕事ばかりやらされてるんだよ。
Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury.
それでね、体内の広報誌を作る仕事を手伝った時に、イベントの写真撮影で初めてカメラの魅力を知ったんだよ。カメラには人を幸せにする力があるのさ。何を言ってるんだろうって思ってるだろうけど、いやこれは本当なのさ。僕はカメラに触れるようになってから日々に幸せを感じるようになったと思ってるよ。
カメラでどうして幸せになれるのかしら。
カメラというのは日々の生活を切り取って写真にして残すものなんだ。残すくらいなんだから幸せなものを写したいというのは当然だろう。じゃあ幸せなものはどこにあるんだろうとファインダー越しに自分の周りの世界を覗いてみると、そこには今まで当たり前だと思っていたものが実はとても幸せなものだったんだと気づくことでいっぱいなんだ。例えば路肩のアスファルトの隙間からけなげに生えている一輪のタンポポだって忙しく通り過ぎる時にはただの雑草に過ぎないけれど、ファインダー越しに覗いた時、それは春の訪れを教えてくれる季節からの素敵な贈り物であったことに気づけるんだよ。それを写真に収めアルバムに残す。そしてアルバムを再び開くたびにその時の幸せな気持ちが蘇ってくるんだ。
二郎さんは風景や野鳥の撮影をしながらそんな気持ちに浸っているの？
その写真が芸術的かどうかとか賞を取れるような劇的瞬間かどうかなんていう野心的なことは僕にとってあまり重要じゃないんだよ。僕たちが気づかない小さな幸せに気づかせてくれる。そこにこそカメラの魅力があるんだと思ってるんだ。だからそんな気持ちでこのひなみ沢をファインダーで覗けることはとても楽しくて幸せなことなんだよ。
I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk. Yeah, I see it. But most of the time, Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle with my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she is indeed interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, but I'm happy to see that this is her reaction.
ちょっと試してみるかい？
私にもできるかし
Don't
ら。
worry, I'm not sick. I just,
簡単だよ。
you know, allergies
最
and
初は
such.
ピントの合わせ方とシャッターの押し方だけ覚えれば十分さ。持ってごらん。レンズには絶対に触れちゃダメだよ。
ブー、簡単じゃないじゃない。
Since she seemed to show an interest in cameras, I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. So the first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that dark little building. Since then, every time we'd meet, we'd ended up walking around the village with our cameras in our hands. Honestly, Tomotake's really just like any other guy. I think this fragment really does show that he really is just normal. Or at least that's how I'm perceiving it, honestly. Like, he really just does seem like a normal guy. A normal, awkward guy. Oh, a local explanatory meeting. This is another required Fragment to start off with. And Hanyu is here.
でしてダムの建設事業に伴う地域振興や地域産業の育成などですね。
そんなことは聞いてねえっつってんだろ。俺らの誰の断りがあってダムなんか作ろうって言い出したかって聞いてんだ。
おう、わしらから税金絞るだけ絞っといてそれに対する返事がこれっちゅうんか。
I like that argument.
あんどりゃ誰の税金で給料もらったんじゃ。ですから先ほどから申し上げておりますように、
言い訳など聞いちゃならんねえ。いつ計画を中止するんか聞いとるんじゃい。お前じゃ話にならん。東京の建設大臣を連れてこい。ここではっきり白黒つけちゃう。
ごめんか国家役人が。
大体踊れら人様の税金で仕事しとってなんでわしらより高い段で話をしとるんじゃ。目線で話さんかい目線で。
The auditorium is filled with angry shouting. The sign at the entrance says, Hinamizawa Dam Construction Explanatory Meeting. Every time the official on the stage tried to say anything, the citizens packed into the room silenced him with their shouts. Trying to ignore them, the official continued to explain the pros of the dam, but that just further infuriated them. Between the stage and the citizens, there was an open area where a police squad is standing by. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump onto the stage and start a riot. I'm watching all this from the back of the auditorium. It's obvious to anyone that they're being swallowed by their anger. They've become filled with a bloody red rage. The anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself and creates a vicious cycle where anger leads to more anger. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans. People face many difficulties in their lives. Anger gives them the motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Therefore, anger is an essential part of life itself. So I will never reject anger itself. However, anger like this, that goes far beyond normal, makes people forget their purpose. That is no longer an essential part of life. As the blood rushes to their head, a person can't even remember what they've done. They go out of control. Such emotions are very painful, sad, and difficult to endure. I can clearly see the villagers who live alongside us turning into demons. I understand the rules of the human world. The power of an individual can't be compared to the power of the government. To be able to fight, an individual needs to become part of a larger unified power. But to steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger. Oh yeah, Star Wars set me up on that one. Not anger that helps you live, but anger that exists only for anger. It's just like being a demon. And this emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long peaceful slumber. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We lived peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly. Yet now we've awakened and it's like the world is trying to return to that age when demons were said to rise from Onigafuchi's swamp. I keep shouting at everyone to get them to calm down, but my voice can't reach them because of the vicious cycle of anger. Even so, I'll continue shouting, hoping even one of them will hear my voice. Because if I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. The demons that went into a deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. Then all of a sudden, the atmosphere changed. Looking up, I saw that the angry exchange between villagers and those on the podium had devolved into confrontation between the villagers themselves. What's going on? Ah, shit.
そりゃオンドレの都合やんね。勝手にそういうにせんといてんだクソババア。
繁盛すったらんはアホンだら。もう一旦抜かしよってからにこのやから。
おうてめえお涼さんと知っててその口聞いとるんかいな。上等きっちゃらおい名乗るかいおいやっかましいわ。その崎がなんぼのもんじゃい。わしゃ北条じゃ。腰巾着は引っ込んどらんか。おお北条の生抜かしよった。ようも村を沈めちゃる言えるの。お前なんぼで村を売った。黙らんか死に損ないが。いいんか。南沢には貧乏にも大勢おるん。お前んとこみたいに 山に畑をうなるほど持ってる地主とはわけが違う。わしゃあの国の保証金で十分満足しとったん。町の公営住宅も手配してくれるっちゅうし、なんも不足はなかった。それをオンドレラが全部ちゃぶ台ひっくり返しちゃったん。
Oh, this is
台無しに
selfishness.
しちゃったんじゃボケ。
Fuck, goddamn. Yeah, this is like selfishness on both sides, kind of, because like, obviously, Sotoko's father is saying, "Oh yeah, we're poor," but like with this happening, like, okay, now we can get some nice public housing, we'll get some compensation, more than we're worth, and we'll be all set. But there are people that are set here, and in their selfishness, really want to not have to leave. I mean, I'm sure they'd be okay. Like, the majority of people would be okay having to move, but they don't want to. It's a case of selfishness on both sides.
踊れら地主の都合で人まで巻き込むなや。そんなに国と喧嘩せんかったら踊れが一人でやれ。したらん銭は誰が払うんね。踊れかいな。うちはな、貧乏だし、育ち盛りが二人もおるん。おとなしゅう国から銭をもろうて、職を斡旋してもろうて、人生再設計ちゅうとこなんや。それを踊れはなんじゃ。いつからお前はわしの代表になったんじゃ。お前そんなに偉いんか。ああ。
おうおうおう、北条のようも抜かしたこの裏切り者が。なら村から出てけ出てけ。
おう、出ていったらもちろんそれに見合う銭はお前が払うんじゃろうな。わしが国からもらい損ねた銭、きっちり都合つけてくれるんじゃろうな。村から出とうとも銭がないんじゃ。踊りが払うんならすぐにでも出たったろわ。
北条の言う通りだ。立ち退いてもいいと思ってる住民もいるんだぞ。御三家は俺たちを巻き込むな。
おうおう、なんじゃ。今抜かしたのは誰じゃ。名乗らんかボケ。
残りたいやつ勝手に残ればいいだろうが。立ち退きも権利じゃ。勝手に人様の権利に干渉すんな、このダラズが。そうじゃそうじゃ。その先のクソババアはすっこんだね。ああ、もちろんダム計画に同意してくださる方には見合う保証を用意いたしております。決して土地の搾取ではありませんので。
黙れ役人ボケ。おんどりゃ、村真っ二つに策を魂胆かい。死ねや北条。村の空気を吸う資格はねえ。今すぐ息止めて死ね。
Jesus.
なめんなボケが。ぶっ殺したら前に出るクソババ。おおおお、引っ込まんかいデカポリ。
よう抜かした。よう抜かした北条のこの園崎おりょう。久々に頭血のぼってきよったわ。
Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it, boys?
きっちりけじめ取らしてもらうかんの。繁盛楽しみに待っとれや。
北条、やれやれ。国は俺たちに仕事と住みかと金を与えろ。こらこら、やめなさい暴力は。お互いやめてやめて。
すったらんちょうどじゃ。恩師が出て今回な。
Everyone is being tainted with the bloody red anger, and I can only watch. The least I can do is to apologize for the tragedy that is about to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is how things started. From this day onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other, and the Hojo family will become ostracized within the village. This marks the beginning of Satoko and Satoshi's lives of tremendous hardship. Yeah, I didn't really picture it going like that, but I don't know how I originally pictured it. I mean, it had to originate somehow. It's not like a, you know, oh, they woke up and announced to everybody like, oh, I'm just going to support the other side. No, there's reasoning. There is reasoning, and we got that reasoning. All right, what else we got? Here we go. We got to learn about Satoshi. How many more first ones do we have? There's Satoshi. There's Satoko. Lovely. And I think that's it. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna finish up those two then, and that will be the end of this episode. That'll be all the first ones, and then the real fun gets started, is figuring out which other ones we can now jump into. I'll have to, like, read each one until we come across one that states, oh, yeah, we learned about this person. Hop on in. That'll be fun. And I'm also not going to use a guide, I promise. I will deal with the pain right here for you all to see. When I asked Rika-chan, she said Satoko might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. That mountain is covered in with trees, vines, and fallen logs, and she really likes the area. Any child would dream of having a secret base. And to Satoko, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends so much time on it. But maybe I should worry more about myself getting lost since I rarely come here. The mountain gets dark quickly when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else.
Satoko! Satoko!
I'm yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods, my voice doesn't carry that well. According to Rika-chan, she has been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. What does she mean by expand it? If it's a secret base, she must not want anyone to find it. Does that mean she's set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps on the mountain before one had got me. Suddenly, my foot sunk into the ground and snagged on something like a jump rope tied beneath dead or dried leaves. I heard some noise from up above, and then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. It had to be one of the playful traps Satoko loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head.
あらあらあら、どなたが現れたかと思えば、ニーニーではありませんの。
サトコ、ダメだよこんな遊びは。危ないじゃないか。
この先は危険だから入ってはいけないってエリン書の看板がちゃんとあったはずでございましたよ。それを無視する方には素敵なトラップの大歓迎がお待ちしておりましたよ。
As her brother, I should stop her from doing things like this. But when I see her brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that smile in some time.
それよりサトコ、今日は家族みんなで食事に出かけるから、夕方までには家に戻りなさいって言われてたじゃないか。
別に私、お食事なんか行きたくありませんわ。お母さんとお父さんが二人で行けばいいんじゃありませんの？
Oh, so they're not dead yet.
行きたければ、ニーニーも一緒に三人で行けばいいんですわ。
まだお父さんのこと怒ってるのかい？
What? He threw an ashtray at me.
違うだろう。
That happened with our previous father. Our current one hasn't done that. He locked me out of the he locked me out on the veranda, excuse me. He didn't feed me lunch. He complained I got him the wrong brand of cigarettes, and then he slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater.
それから。
She isn't talking about our current stepfather. Things about all of our other different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head, yeah. Yeah, that's not good. Every time our mother remarried, we had to call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, I used the word father even if I didn't want to. But it was too difficult for Satoko, young as she was, to do the same. Ever since Satoko was very little, she's been having troubles with all of our stepfathers. She's never opened up to our current one. To Satoko, our father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that our current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident where Satoko called the child abuse hotline, our stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Satoko had suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the local social worker. Why did I throw in the word local? She's been doing her part in trying to bring Satoko back into the family. But Satoko completely refuses to even try, excuse me. It's understandable though. Her childhood has been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. And that's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in this world. Oh, how that backfired. But a brother and a sister alone can't be considered a family. Even if we don't get along now, if we continue to communicate, even in a small way, we may be able to become a real family someday.
サトコ、今のお父さんはだんだん優しくなってきたよ。サトコと仲直りしたいっていつも言ってる。
そんなの聞いたことありませんわ。
お父さんがそれを言おうとすると、サトコが逃げちゃうからだよ。お父さんももっとサトコと話をしたがってる。もうかぼちゃを無理やり食べさせたりはしないって言ってたよ。
嘘ですわ。かぼちゃを食べるまでは食卓から出て行っちゃダメって何度も注意されましたわ。
Again, she isn't talking about our current stepfather.
サトコ、とにかくニーニーと一緒に家に帰ろう。せっかくお母さんが福引きで当てたお食事券が無駄になっちゃうよ。予約制だから今日行かないと無効になっちゃう。
ニーニーだけで行けばいいんですわ。私は一人でお留守番してるのが好きなんですの。
Satoko usually doesn't stay out playing this late. She knows we're going out and that's why she's out here alone. Although I want to snap at Satoko, I controlled myself. Because she only has me. I can't scare her.
とにかくサトコ、帰ろう。食事に一緒に行くかどうかは帰ってから決めてもいいんじゃないかな。それにサトコに案内してもらわないと僕家に帰れない。
ニーニー、あれだけ何度も一緒に連れてってあげましたのに、まだここが覚えられませんの？まったくしょうがないニーニーですわね。
Satoko holds out her hand. She often says she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. Excuse me. I took that hand, Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother. Oh, how that worked out.
帰ろう、サトコ。
Yeah, I've stated before, her character fucking infuriates me. There was a point early on in Chapter 3 where I was like, huh, you know what? This seems to be going in a cool direction, and then she just stopped fucking being cooperative. Like, I'm glad everything worked out in the previous chapter. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy things worked out because goddamn did we need things to finally work the fuck out. But man, oh man, that took so long, so much energy, and just... you know what? I've complained enough. I don't like her character. I'm glad things worked out. I'm glad she became a better character from all the bullshit we had to go through, but I just fucking despise her character. That's all. So we're gonna get her fragment out of the way real quick. My name is Satoko Hojo, but Hojo is my current father's family name. I was also Satoko Hatake, Satoko Yoshizawa, and also Satoko Matsura because of my previous fathers. I'm still not used to being called Hojo-san. If someone calls me Satoko, then I know that person is talking to me, because Satoko is the name I've been using since I was born. I don't understand why my mother keeps getting married and divorced. If she's going to get a divorce, why does she get married? If she's married, why does she get a divorce? I've asked her before, but depending on the situation, her answers were different. When I asked her when she was married, she got angry. When I asked her after she got a divorce, she cried. I don't understand the meaning of marriage, so I have no interest in drawing pictures of a bride in a wedding dress. I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't want to keep changing my child's last name. My teacher once asked if I liked my mother. I think it was when I was in kindergarten in Okonomiya. That was a very difficult question, because sometimes I loved her very much and sometimes I hated her very much. I couldn't decide. When my mother was nice, she smiled all the time. She made us happy. She thanked me for being her daughter. When my mother wasn't nice, she frowned all the time. She treated my brother and me very poorly. She told me I should have never been born. My teacher asked me if I liked my father. That was a very easy question. because I always hated him very much, no matter who he was. The new fathers always treated me very nicely at first, as if I was their real daughter. They always told me I could think of them as my real father, but they couldn't be my real father. Besides, I didn't even know my real father's face. How could I call them my father? I couldn't. That was disgusting. Right before divorce, my fathers always became very irritated with me. They treated me like a cockroach. They told me they didn't have money to feed me. They threw things at me, and they locked me out on the veranda. I was told I could forget about them because that was all in the past. I think that was a different teacher from a different school. And maybe that's true, because ever since Hojo became my father, my mother has been smiling. I haven't seen them get into a fight as I have seen happen just before a divorce. They have little arguments here and there, but those don't lead to a divorce, and they always make up. But I'm sure they'll get a divorce sooner or later. Then it will be the same old stuff with the family court, divorce settlements, a night flight, child support. So who knows how long this Hojo will be my father. That's why I don't even feel like calling him that. He also treated me well at first, but when I didn't call him father, even after he asked me repeatedly, he became irritated. They'll get a divorce soon. When my father gets into this mood, a divorce is on the way. After a divorce, it's my mother's turn to be irritated with me. Then she'll tell me that she shouldn't have had me or she can't be happy because of me. Why is my existence causing problems for my mother? I asked my brother and he told me, if you have children, it's not easy to find someone to get married with. To my mother, remarriage is a very important job, so I can understand having children around will cause problems. I think I finally understand the reason why I'm a nuisance to her. I asked my brother something else. Why are children hated by new fathers? Well, that's simple. That's because family members all have different roles. A mother's job is to love her children. A father's job is to love the mother. That means I'm a nuisance to both my mother and my father. Oh god, why is the text changing? My brother is more mature than me, so they don't look down on him as a nuisance. But maybe I am... No, I am definitely a nuisance. So now I know. Both my mother and father want me dead, but if they kill me, they'll be caught. But that doesn't mean they won't kill me. If I were to look down the cliff, and if no one was around, my mother and father would push me off for sure. My father has become abnormally nice to me recently. He started to act that way ever since I made the fake call. I know for sure that it's just part of a plot to kill me, so I won't let them trick me. I'm sorry. Lately, when I listen very carefully, I can hear a voice apologizing. The voice sounds similar to mine. Her mother must be telling me that she shouldn't have been born. I'm sorry. But I won't apologize like that. I'll live. I'm going to strike back. I'll kill before I get killed. I'm sorry. Hinamizawa syndrome be kicking in. Were the apologies from Hanyu? No. It's all in her head. Maybe. I don't fucking know. This disease, man. But I mean, that literally follows everything that we've learned about the syndrome. So interesting to see that. And let me ask you all this. Who killed your parents? Did they just simply die? You know? Who knows? I don't know. Who could ever know? Not me. Actually, I don't know if that was hinted there. Okay, so it looks like... Now that I'm, like, reading these a little bit here. So if we go back to the first page... yeah, so we don't have that first one. I don't know if we have that second one. I don't think we have either of these. Unless it's that bottom one that we do have. We don't have this one. Or what? We don't have what's required. We don't have what's required there. No. Yeah, see, this is going to be pretty interesting because it's not actually stating the name of these. We have to figure out what we've witnessed so far. So, no, we haven't seen that. No. Probably this. Yeah, repetitive apologies are required. It could be this one that's coming up next. Okay, so we haven't seen this or those ones. We haven't seen those ones. A bat to beat her to death is required. Okay, so yeah, I can understand that one. So this one is a murder with a dismembered body. Maybe we're not ready for this one? I don't know. This one actually might be next because Reminiscence, we kind of got that off of, you know, learning about him in general, so we might be able to jump into this one. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun trying to figure out what we can actually do. I don't want to just, like, I don't know, jump in or jump back into the game in the next episode and click on all of these trying to figure out which one is the next one to do, but that might be what we have to do. Unfortunately, that might be the case, which kind of sucks, but I'm also stupid, and sometimes I don't understand what's going on. We'll figure it out. We'll get through this. But pretty interesting episode. I think everybody was saying in the comments in the last episode that, you know, there are a lot of very interesting fragments, and I think by everything kind of being like their own like small parts, it's gonna make getting through this chapter a little bit more easy. Maybe it's dissectable. Yeah, that's the word we can use. Very interesting in that way. But yeah, next time we'll see what else we can do. Oh, this is gonna get really fun. Maybe I should write these down. Maybe that'll help. Maybe I should have like just something that I can refer back to, so whenever I'm trying to figure out what we can get to, I can reference back, oh, we've learned this about Irie, we've learned this about Satoko, so therefore we can jump into this, because this is what it requires. We've learned about these two things. Maybe that might help? I don't know. Any suggestions are totally welcome on going forward with this. But thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, maybe, or a dislike, whichever one you fancy on this one. And yeah, I guess I will see you all in the next episode as we continue to connect all these lovely fragments. Take it easy, guys.